How's it going, YouTube? In today's video, we are going to be discussing everything that you will need to know before you start investing. There are plenty of things that you will need to do beforehand, like paying off debts, setting up emergency funds, stuff like that you will need to know first. I myself have over 100K in my IRAs at the age of 26 and over 200K in my savings. These are things I wish I would have known first before I started investing, because I could have done things a little differently, and a lot of other people agree. So let's get straight on into the video. Okay, the first thing is you're going to want to pay off all your credit card debt if you have any, or any debt in general, because look at this, 22% a year is what you're paying on debt. Basically, this is just the average too. Some of them are higher than that. You're not going to make 20% in the stock market. So get this done first. This is the first thing. Pay off all your debts, and then we'll go on to step 2. All right, step number 2 in this process is going to be having an emergency fund and a high yield savings account. Why in a high yield savings account? And why an emergency fund, you might ask? Well, if you're investing $10,000 into the stock market and you don't have $10,000 in a high yield savings account, say you lose your job or anything falls out from underneath you or something like that, and you don't have money to pay for it, you're going to have to sell your stocks to pay for, like, I don't know, say your engine breaks, something like that, you lose your job, you're going to have to sell stocks, and then your stocks are going to be getting charged like 30% on taxes, because if you short-term sell stocks, they're taxed a lot more. So this is why we're going to be getting a high-yield savings account. And a lot of people like to do 6 months to a year. I personally do a lot more than that, just for me, because I can earn passive income this way. But it's basically, so say a year's worth of expenses for you is like 50 grand. So if you lost your job and you had $50,000 in a high yield savings account at 4.2%, because a lot of them on this list, I believe, are 4.4, 4.2%, times that by 4.2%, that equals you're making $2,100 a year just off passive income. And that's a great way here. We want the emergency fund set up. Bada bang, bada boom. This is what you do before starting to invest. Alrighty, so now we're on to the fun part of the video, where we're going to be starting to invest into stocks and what you need to know about them. So this is assuming that you've already paid off all your credit card debts, so you're not paying 21% interest, because you are not going to be making 21% every year in the stock market. So pay that off first. So that way, if you're making 10%, you're still not down 11% because of your credit card debt. You have the emergency fund set up. You've got about a year's worth of living, so that way if you lose your job, you do not have to sell stocks and have to pay crazy taxes on your stocks, and you lose money on your investments. Emergency fund is set, and boom, you're ready to go. Retirement funds are great for you to start with and stuff like that. I highly recommend you maxing out your Roths or your contributors and stuff like that, your employer, stuff like that. But here we're going to be looking into stocks and everything. So if you have a Roth or a personal brokerage, we're going to get straight on into that. Let's do it. All right, so here are a few points that I've made out on things that you need to know before you start investing, and you're ready to start investing at this point. Try to probably put this at number 1. You're going to want to start with a small amount here. So at first, let's say, for instance, you have $1,000 for this, for just this example. You want to put $100 to $200, and your first few trades are always a little different. You might not understand the brokerage fees, the management fees with some mutual funds and some stocks, because some have expense ratios, some cost a little more. But it's always good to start out with a smaller amount, so that way you don't lose as much, because you might think, oh, this stock is going to make a lot, but it's not earning enough dividends or anything like that, or expense ratio, so it costs a lot to own the stock. It's always great to start out with a small amount here. I can go into, there's so much more you have to understand with fees that I don't want to implicate it on this video, but there are fees, and it is great to be looking at, some brokerage fees like Fidelity and all that. They might take a little bit, because obviously they take a little bit to, run all this stuff, but some stocks are better than others. Some ETFs are better than mutual funds, stuff like that. It is good to know that. If you're opening a personal brokerage, you will have to understand the short-term versus long-term tax considerations. Basically, if you sell anything under a year, you get taxed way more. I don't know the percentage, because I don't have a personal brokerage at this point. I just have my SEP IRAs and stuff, so I haven't sold anything. I've just been holding, which is really good, what you want to be doing. And I'm going to be buying a lot right now since the market's down. Highly recommend you guys to buy some stocks when the market price is down. But if you don't hold your taxes as long, or not as taxes, if you don't hold your stocks as long and you sell them within a year, you get taxed like, I think 33%. something like that. Whereas long term, it's 10 to 15. So you get taxed a lot less. So if you hold stuff longer, like 5 to 10 years, it's gonna go up more anyways. For the most part, you'll make more money. And basically, number 3, you want to create a diversified portfolio. That means investing in the U.S. market, having some dividend stocks. You could even throw in some bonds and stuff in there. We can go more into this whenever we're going to be making the ideal portfolio and stuff like that. I can make a video with that, but definitely don't just invest in the US top. Don't make it all like tech based. You want to diversify it. Some days the tech market goes down. Some days, like say you're investing into the medical field, sometimes that market goes up and whatever. So that way they'll off balance each other. And if everything's going up, it does that. But if you have everything into just like Nvidia and stuff like that, if Nvidia crashes 10%, guess what? Your whole thing crashes 10%. Whereas if it's diversified into other markets, like overseas markets, you got some bonds and everything like that in there, you'll be good. Diversify it. So that's that part of this video. Let's wrap it up. This video wasn't meant to be in depth or anything. This is just going over what you should do before you start investing. It is really crucial, and I cannot get that through your heads, that you need to pay off your credit card debts and stuff like that. Have an emergency fund. I cannot state that. Have the 6 to 12 months. So that way, if anything, God forbid, I mean, you never know with the economy nowadays. We could lose our jobs tomorrow and go into a great recession. You want to have that 6 to 12 months. So that way you don't invest, I don't know, say like 10K or something like that. And then you got to, boom, you got to sell everything because you got to eat and pay your mortgage because you lost your job. Like, that's not what we want. Emergency fund is crucial. And when it comes to opening stocks, you want to make sure you're doing your research about them and diversifying your portfolio and starting with a small amount. And honestly, hold everything long term. Don't sell anything within a year unless you somehow 3x your money. Then I guess it's fine. But you want to sell it, go for it. But you'll be taxed a lot more. And you have to include that in your taxes. A lot more work. But it's just a great video to start off with. Comment a big fat W if you made it this far in the comments. And let me know if you guys want any type of videos, some step-by-step. Like I said, I have 100K in my IRAs. Got a lot of my savings at the moment. Definitely trying to invest a lot more this year. So we're going to be showing you guys how to do some things. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys want. And I'll see you guys in the next video.